Hello everybody and welcome back to artofdino.com and saveearth.us, and I've got a very interesting one today that I found from an atlas in 1680, and I was looking in for just random stuff and ended up coming across a couple things that I would have not have expected. So I typed Tartaria in, this book came up in the Library of Congress. I love this picture with Atlas holding up the sky. Keep this in mind with then Mount Meru in the land up there that he's standing on, which is also very interesting, but keep that in mind. This is a little bit of information from the book, and I'll do my best to put the link in the information below. But I was very captivated by this Palestine map. This map over here, at first I thought it was Israel. I mean, not Israel. I thought it was Egypt because of what it says at the bottom, which I'll show you. But then I realized the Dead Sea is there and the Sea of Galilee, and so it's the Palestine-Israel area. But take a look at all of the buildings. I want you all to notice that first. Look at all those little symbols of buildings. They are everywhere amidst this desert metropolis of well-populated civilization of the ancient past, and everything was built up nice. And so I saw this, and this is what kind of brought me to the article, and I translated this. Didn't get too much out of it, you'll see in a second, but and sometimes the Google Translate is probably a little bit wrong, and there's also a couple words before at the beginning of each of these lines. So, but I translated it. It doesn't really lead too much insight and nothing relating to this particular video, but I thought it was very cool, and I wanted to show you my process. So then I came over here, and I was looking at this one, where I ended up seeing something that I thought was very interesting. So again, take a look at what you see when you look at how the buildings are represented in the cities and all these different things, and look at all of them above that Mare Mortuum, the Dead Sea. Look at all of the action there, and then I'm going to show you a Google Earth and show you what this place looks like. But look at how populated it was at one point in time, and this is mapped from 1680. So who knows? So something happened between 1680 and now, but who knows what happened before that. And I also translated this, which is pretty cool. It doesn't really tell much again, but look at the population. Look at the coastline. The coastline is packed with structures. The above that is packed with structures. Below that is a little more scarce. There's more mountains and hills and different things. This is a comparison showing the translation, but I wanted to again take a look at the lake really quickly, and I want you to see something if you didn't notice before. So as we zoom in here, take a look at the difference between the buildings on land and the ones over the Dead Sea. Now take a look at the smoke slash steam slash water coming from that. Are those machines that are in there, those buildings, are those weather generating, cloud generating machines using the water to create the weather back in the day, which leads me to believe that the weather has almost always been created like this by humans. We have been a part of it more so than I think we've been taught. And take a look at some of these different machines that have been spotted around the internet, which they claim NASA has a cloud making machine, but then you go to NASA's fact checkers and they're like, no, that's just us testing out rockets which produce perfect H2O when they combine X with X. And so it's like, okay, that's another way of, I mean, you're making a cloud, so you can't really say that you're not. If you're testing out a rocket, you're still creating a cloud. That's the reality of what is being produced by your technology. So either way, I have a feeling these machines are everywhere, and especially with the weather manipulation we've been seeing lately, that in all these storms that are clearly following the paths that somebody is directing, you can tell that weather is not a natural phenomenon like they have claimed it to be for so long. But a lot of different power plants have waste that looks exactly like white puffy clouds as well. You've seen them from nuclear reactors. I've seen one in Pennsylvania that had one that was producing clouds like wild. So many different things that show that we are not being told the truth about the weather. And all the scientists, I'm sure, signed non-disclosure agreements. The science is totally propelling in a direction that humanity is not being taught or told about. And so a lot of people in India were like, why don't we do this over here? Like, we're having droughts, all this stuff. Amita Bunchan was the one who posted this. But and then they fact check it, all this stuff. Everybody has to say, no, yeah, no, you're not seeing that. But again, this made me think as well as, we see a lot of structures in the middle of water. And John Levy pointed one out recently that he's been kind of diving into a structure that almost looks like a computer chip in the middle of this water area. And we have to envision what we think a cloud generating machine would look like. It would look like something like this, built over water, a structure, enough kind of structure around it where you can have like an administration and people working to make sure it happens. And then again, in the star forts, all of these middles are always filled in with dirt and land, but there's never really any structures in there. And then inevitably they put forts and little huts in there. But I think that they've landfilled the inside of those, and beneath those, or right in that area, was where the tech was that led all the way to the water below, and it would create clouds by doing some process of thermal heat or whatever. And look at these in India that are everywhere. They're ancient things that are declared temples because they're very spiritual and very peaceful in the middle of a lake. But also, were they cloud generators and weather machines at one point? I like to think that they were, to be honest. And now take a look at this again. So this is another factor relating to this. We see the Dead Sea. We saw all those pictures back in the day with the buildings everywhere, especially in the northern part. So what would have happened? Again, we're going to compare these, how this looked. This is how it looks now via Google Earth, supposedly, with a lot of destruction, only certain city zones, but not all over the place. Everything isn't developed everywhere. There's a lot of desolate places. So look at this back in the day. There is buildings everywhere. Every single area has a name. Every single place is represented by a big building or multiple. Along the coast, there's a ton of different structures there that for trade or whatever, or produce salt or whatnot. But also I have a question about that Dead Sea salt, because look at it now. The place is ravaged. It is dust. It was clearly destroyed. Whatever was there, there are no buildings in different little towns and villages left in this area as far as I can see. And no, maybe I'm wrong, but take a look. To me, the Dead Sea now, I believe, was created when they wiped out all these people. It looks like they forced them to the sea, and then you have a bunch of people that are dying in the lake, and it's probably going to turn extremely salty. But then again, take a look at this. This is just one small area of that land that I examined, and you can see the remnants of structures there. Clearly past. I don't know if they're building anything now. I can't see why they would. But look at those circular moves, those different landscape, city kind of designs, outlines. They're all there, and you can find these all over this place. Remnants of a lost city, of a lost technologically advanced masterful zone that just got blown up, turned to sand, turned to dust. The people turned to salt, went to the ocean or went to the water to try and recover, and were probably stuck there because of some massive war machine technique of leveling zones that we have no idea about today. In ancient technology, there's no telling what they did. Any advanced civilization that could create the buildings that they did must have had unbelievable tech to do almost anything, to destroy, to make mountains into buildings, to basically create mountains from physical architecture and different things, and then inevitably have them blown up and turned to what looks like natural rocky crags like we see. And then we're told it's natural, but it's all the ruins of an ancient civilization that was everywhere, colonized everywhere with amazing technology, dominated the weather. They knew exactly what they had to do, and they probably weren't hiding it. It was probably a known thing. And if you can control the weather, it's almost like we were put on this place with tons of buildings, tons of place to live, all these different things, all these plants growing, all these amazing things, and even the ability to control the weather, which would probably be good if it was a natural thing that went really smoothly, but apparently it's not. I don't know if the ancient weather system was destroyed, or if we've taken part in destroying it, or all of the destruction of these ancient cities and forests could also have had a very big impact in changing our weather today and making it rendered useless. I even wonder, while thinking of that other picture of Atlas, if maybe the old company that used to make these things was called Atlas, and then them producing the clouds was helping to keep up the firmament of sky, helping to support it with weather or something like that. Maybe there's an alteration to that myth that we aren't really thinking about or haven't looked at in a particular way, which may need to be, who knows? It could be an old Atlas, could be an old logo for an old worldwide company. The mythologies could all be things like that for different purposes in different organizations of the past that were crucial to the world. Who knows? Interesting theories about weather modification in the old Dead Sea and what happened to all of these areas that are now dust and rubble completely, that were once clearly in 1680 they were colonized and there were buildings everywhere. So again, this has happened all over the world. This place, this desert of Israel looks like Egypt. It looks like the Grand Canyon. It looks like the Middle East. It looks like the middle of Asia. It looks like parts of Australia. It's everywhere. This kind of stuff, these remnants of ancient rubble that used to be once great empires and whatnot, which imagine the history, imagine the knowledge, imagine reading newspapers from that world. It's something just totally different, something to think about and ponder. Lets the imagination go wild. Very interesting stuff. I hope you appreciate these theories, and if you have any insight or input as well that will either back up or refute this, then let me know, because it's new to me, but I haven't checked everything out there, so it might not be new to anyone else. But either way, I hope you all enjoyed this. Have a great day. Thanks from artofdino.com and saveearth.us. Bless you all.